Hey everybody, how's it going? Stephanie Aune, artist here in Concord, California. I have about 40 minutes that I can work on these. I'm doing jelly press deli sheets. So I've gone through and I've done just the first layer, okay? So what I've done is, this is a ghost print here. I've purposely left some areas without paint. And some of them got heavier, of course. As you can see, this was just, 3 different colors that I put on there. I don't mind the coloring on this. I know it's kind of like, ew. Once you put stuff over the top of it, it looks completely different. So with my jelly press, nice pretty silver blue underneath of that's a metallic blue acrylic. I use acrylic paints. I use any type of acrylic paint that I want. I do not use my most expensive acrylic paint. That's the heavy body stuff. So as you can see, I actually like the ghost prints because when I'm using these on my canvases and when I have my base layer on there, my text and all of that, it's transparent, and so you get to see the text underneath, or whatever you have, your bits of map or your bits of whatever comes through. So I really love that. So these are, again, this blue, I ran out of this blue, so I just used up as much as I could. And this was cleaning off of the jelly press, and then I went back and used it again to clean off another spot. Then I had some purples and blues on it. This is again a ghost print, and I like to pick up my edges. I like the colors that they give for one, but I don't like a really dirty jelly press. I don't like having goobers when I don't want them. So as you can see, and we do not need to go through all of these, I just have color down for the first layer, and this is 3 colors. Here's this lighter green, darker green, and a blue. Here again, it's just a ghost print. This is a brown and a green in the ghost print. So when that goes over the cover of text, even just like it is, that would really make a beautiful background on my canvases. So I have tried to do a good variety of colors for my bases, and now I'll do a couple more bases real quick to show you. Isn't that gorgeous? It's gold paint. It's a gold acrylic paint from Michaels with yellow. It still has some transparency to it. Ghost print. All different colors, all different layers of base. So the first time that I used my jelly press, I actually, that's the video that you have, that's on my channel. One of my very first videos was using the jelly press. I really had a blast with it. This is a cleanup sheet. Isn't that just really cool? Actually, it's very, very nice. Okay. So what I'm going to do real quick is make a couple of those for you, and then just to show you how I do them. I make a lot at a time. It took me 6 months to use up my first batch, and if I'm going to be using these I love that one. I'm going to be using these on my big painting, which I'm considering. Oh, that big painting is daunting right now. Okay, this thing is not perfectly cleaned off, but it's not going to give me any goobers. And I hate goobers! Okay, I really like that blue with a touch of gold. I know I've got quite a few of those, but they're very pretty. Let's see. So I'll use a wide variety of cheap paint. I have all this stuff. This is, you know, from my flow paintings, actually. My good paints, like I said, that I use for my paintings. You know, I don't use my expensive stuff on this process because you don't need to. So everything here is, I think the Master's Touch, that might be from Hobby Lobby. Joann's has paint, you know, and of course your local stores have paints too. And just get whatever colors you like. And just realize though, with your little bit of color theory, that if you mix the wrong colors together, you're going to get mud. Mud, 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 mud. Sometimes mud is great, like those browns. I love how some of those browns are turning out. I truly do. I've only had one cup of coffee today. You gotta forgive me for slurping there. That's a beautiful color. Let's make one with that. So, you saw the browns. Artist Loft, Liquitex. Okay, my alarm just shut you off. I've got 30 minutes left. Oh, I better do some painting. This is taking quite a while, but I'm working on, of course, 3 projects at once. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing at the same time. Oh, so I also use these little cheapo acrylics from Walmart work fine. I was thinking about using them all up, but then I got to realizing these are actually really handy. They're so small to have in my travel kit for my art. The key is to not get too heavy of a layer. See, now this is actually very uniform of coverage. And with my deli sheets, you know, you can use a parchment paper, you can use a transfer paper, you can use whatever your heart desires. You do not have to use a deli sheet. You can use tissue paper also, I've heard, but I think that would be tough. So I'm just getting a first layer. Then I'm coming back and getting a second pull, which they would technically call the ghost print. This is the ghost print, the second print. And I've got an air bubble in here. And it's picking up all the colors that are still left on the board, which I love that. See all these great, yummy, beautiful colors? That is very good. And so I've got still paint left over here. Now some people just have a magazine off to the side or whatever that they use it. I just use the paint as much as I can. And with my deli sheets, the one thing that I didn't like about my first batch is that I was not aware of that line down the middle, that crease, causing what it causes. Okay. Which is a line down the middle of your painting. If you just put one deli sheet on your canvas, which I love to do. As you know, I worked with 9x12 a lot of times, and these make wonderful, amazing backgrounds, and they're great starting places. And I'm just going around and picking up whatever is left on my plate. Just a ghost print. So as you can see, I get 3 layers of color, 3 sheets of color off of one. Now there's still a lot of blue left on here. So I like to use my plastic protector on the bottom, and I washed underneath of it last night. So that's why I had the air bubbles. Let me show you a couple other colors that I like. You can use the Americanas. You can use, you know, whatever comes in a bottle. Ooh, pink. That's bright. Let's try one of those, and let's see what happens if we put pink. Oh, not with ochre. Let's just do something obnoxious. Now, this is kind of cool when you do this swirly. It's kind of cool to have a little bit more liquid paint. Oh, that's pink. I'm not worried about it being pink because truly I'm gonna have layers and layers and layers. So I do try to get out to the edges. I do like it if that crease, you know, I just take a couple extra seconds with that crease. It's gonna be very bright. That first pull, I put a little bit, I put a little extra paint on there. It dries pretty quickly, but truly with, see, I'm just using the rest of the paint up on the brayer. I don't mind having a little paint on the back. But there's the swirl. It comes up on the ghost print, more so than on the first print. Cool stuff. See there, I'm just pulling up any remnants of paint that I can. It takes a little bit extra time to do that, but I think it's worth it for me. I like having these extra little crunchies, and as I put layers on top of this, the transparency stays. So, what colors? I said I wanted some blue and gold, didn't I? Because I liked that as a base. So we're going to put some more of this blue on. The swirlies come out. It's so cool. And I'm going to use up the rest of this because this guy's almost empty. This is like a Jane Davenport gold. It's almost gone. Yeah, this is a great place to get rid of all your extra paint laying around. I've got a lot of paint on there. Let's talk Gelli press real quick before I have to go. I opted to get the largest one. And the reason for that is because, alright, so I felt like I got a little bit too much paint on there. So I'm going to pull a little bit of that off, just with a card. Yeah, I got a lot of paint on that one. Oh, and then it just globbed on there. Okay, I'm just going to take some off. There we go. Alright, I'm working one-handed here. Trying to get that paint down in that seam. It's the only thing that I really like to watch out for. I'll do one pull. We're actually going to bring this guy back here. Second pull. See? And then we're going to pull this paint in. We got the brayer. Still covered with that paint. I've really scattered the coverage, which is better, I have found over the time that I've been doing this. Depends on what you're making. So you always have to remember, what am I making? How is it going to look? What effect do you want? If you don't like having light coverage, see how transparent that is. And then we're going to take one final sheet. I have 500 sheets of deli paper. Jumbo size. It's Marcal, M-A-R-C-A-L, deli paper. Got it off of Amazon. It's the jumbo size. I like using deli sheets or anything that's going to be transparent. Again, so it's see-through. All right. I'm just going to get whatever paint's left on here. Oh. Can't see that very well, but as you know, once this gets wet, you can see all the way through it. Okay, guys. When I come back tonight, hopefully I'll do this after work. What I'll do is I'm going to start doing layers, and that would be building with stencils and all other sorts of cool, fun objects that you find around the house. Okay, everybody, I hope you have a great day, and we will chat soon. Hey, everybody. How's it going? What time is it? I can barely see my clock over there. It looks like it is almost 8 o'clock. This morning you watched me do these guys. And they're very light, and that's good. I wanted some lights. And the color is really beautiful. Teal and blue. And then it was definitely something over the top of the last one, right? And then these purple ones came out also. So this one would have a lot of paint on it. It's very non-transparent. This one's the ghost print. It's a little better. And of course the third one's here somewhere, which it might have been this one. It's got some of that coloring in there. So part of me thinks I should do a couple more of just these straight colors. Remember, these have 1 or 2 colors on them, you know, done lightly. I want to do some more lighter ones too. You know, and some of these are actually good enough to stop right there where they are. However, I kind of want to go through and put the pattern into them with the stencils and all the other cool household goods that I have. So let's just kind of look at that real quick. Get over my bucket here. Bubble wrap makes cool circles. This is a very wide hexagon bubble wrap. I'll show it to you real fast. We're going to do a blue over blue. Ooh, that should be interesting. Hopefully you're still all lined up and I'm not bumping the camera. You're not touching the table, so it shouldn't be. I'm actually on an alternative table because my main table is all covered with stuff. Not unusual. Okay, so that's a pretty thick layer. I think I'm actually going to take off some of this paint. Again, let's take it off. Let's pull off some of this here too. I'm going to set this to the side because I can't continue to hold this and do this whole process. So, fat bubble wrap. Can you see the little spots under there? So it makes kind of this cobblestone. So let's put this, I'm going to start here. Make sure it's covered. Okay. So this was very faint. Beautiful color though. Okay, so that'll get another layer over the top of it. That did not impress me at all. Well, let's see what happens with a ghost print with this guy. It's going to be kind of an ugly color combination, isn't it? And let's go ahead and clean off our hopper while we're at it. Okay, so here we can see those dots a little bit better. And what if we go back in? See if we can't lay down. Now, these dried too much. You can usually turn around and stamp with these. Okay. I'm not loving the large bubble wrap. We can try it one more time and see. Don't love it though. Let's see what happens here. Get some color. Why not with this green? This green's really not my favorite green. It's this says turquoise green. It should be a favorite green. I love turquoise, but the problem is that it's more of a Gelli green, so it's super intense. Again, I'm getting all the air bubbles out there. Oh, that's right, we've got paint on our thingy here. Look how much paint is on there. You don't want that much paint on there. And we're just pulling and mixing that paint around. Now maybe it's possible that it got too dry last time. Who knows? I do not claim to be an expert with this. We should have some good polka dots though. We pulled up some paint. Go with this pretty light blue and see what happens. I'm going to go right here. It's interesting. I'm not really seeing the dots. I mean, I do, but not enough to say that that's a super successful pull. So I'm going to come back in here with this guy here and bring on some more color. Now that's a little bit more livable. Remember, when I put these on my canvases, I'm putting layers and layers and layers of stuff over the top of it. This has some nice light and darks, has some interesting colors in the background. I think that one's pretty well done. And let's see what we can do here with what we got remaining. Bring on this paint. All right, so I don't love the bubble wrap. Remember, we're experimenting, we're playing, we're checking stuff out. All right, so that's gonna go somewhere else. Okay, go over there. Yeah. What do we want to use? Okay, cardboard. These cardboard lines. Okay, I must have a lot of paint on there. What is going on here? So when you pull these off, I should have this scooched over. Pull these off, you can stamp them here. I don't know if you're in view. Again, this is just a piece of cardboard that I took off the top layer. That is the effect that you can get with using that as stamping. Okay, so let's pull that. See what happens. There's a lot of paint on here, so it just kind of smushed around. But I like it. It's kind of cool. That's definitely usable. Let's go ahead and bring back in this guy, because this is not interesting whatsoever. And we'll give it a little bit more interest here with the ghost print. It has beautiful colors. There's nothing fabulous or wonderful about it, but it is very pretty, and I think I will call that one finished. Now this one that we just stamped on, I just stuck my toe against the board. Let's see what we can get off of here. See if there's anything more on here. Basically, I'm cleaning off as much of the edges as I can get. That paint's pretty dry by now, so that will come up in later prints, most likely. That's actually really pretty. There's still transparency. It's got a nice sheen to it, and it'll work great as a background. Okay. Alright, so what else do we want to try? We already know this stuff doesn't work. We have a large piece of cardboard. A lot of lines. Not very exciting. We have, oh, that's from a lemon. Now that should give us some good pattern, huh? Look at all those cool squares. So let's see what we can do with this. Cardboard is successful, absolutely. Colors, colors, colors. All right. Now we've got these darker blues. This should be great with that. What colors do we want to choose to go with the darker blues? We have some purple, some red. Ooh, that would be really an intense contrast, wouldn't it? Some purple. Those would be pretty. And I definitely want to put some more shimmer in here. So this is, I have what's called Interference by Golden. And this stuff makes the coolest sheen and shine to everything. It's great stuff. If you've watched the videos before, you've seen it in action. I should probably pull out the blue interference with these colors instead of the green. The green might make this a little muddy. Ooh, we're running out of vermilion. Great color. Very hard to actually use in a painting. Unless you're doing poppies, which I did a painting of poppies, which was super cool. That's a big glob of paint. And my scraper. Scraper! Scraper, scraper. Let's pull some of that off. Whoa. Now remember, we do not want complete coverage. That's actually super cool, just like that. Okay. Now, we can set this down over the top of it. Woo. And we can bring in, let's bring in one that was like the first pull. And we'll go over the top and get all this stuff off of there. So we should be getting those lines coming through our deli sheet. Can you see them? Not 100% successful. I got really goopy right there. But, so we can turn around. Oh, I'm going to have to do something about this. And stamp with it. I need more space! The stamping gives us a few more. But this is what should be cool here. I don't know if you can see the cool patterns and textures in there, but There. And it should be there. Meh. Meh. I don't love it. Get rid of that big globule right there. Get that spread out here a little bit. Don't love that. I like that one though. It has really cool little spots. That one's cool. That one's keep up. That one's done. So it's probably a combination of using these two really bright, intense colors over blue that I'm not a huge fan of. So let's do something completely different. Green and red. You know what happens when we mix green and red. Brown. But this is a very yellow red. Okay, so we just made some interesting stuff here. We're going to pull part of that off. I'm having a hard time getting the right levels today, aren't I? Okay. Or amounts. And the tiny bubble wrap does do better. This is a huge piece of bubble wrap. With a smushed spot in the middle. I'm not rubbing that down super hard. Let's see what happens. See the circles? Kind of cool. You can see the circles better on the deli sheet itself. Actually, I do want to go in over the top of this guy. And pick up the ghost print. It's interesting. It's interesting. We're still working. We're still working on it. Okay. So this is turning pretty brown. It's all right. We need browns too. Remember, I know that these are for backgrounds. I know that these are for bits and pieces. So the interest of color, the dynamic, is what I'm looking for. And this has it. I know it doesn't look like much to you. I know it. It'll get there. You'll understand it soon. Well, you've seen me use these deli sheets. This is the exact same way I've done all my deli sheets. That one has a couple different pulls over the top of it. We're just going to try to pick up some of this stuff underneath of here. It's become very brown, but the coloration in it is really beautiful. But it's also very opaque now. You can't see through it. Yeah, not surprising. Okay. Let's put some shimmer over the top and see if that works. Oh, this one's gone. Oh, it's almost gone. Let me put some. Oh, this color worked well. So these little foam things that are actually for kids can leave pattern behind. As you can see again on the deli sheet. And we can stamp these also if I had more space. Ooh, well, those make a great stamp. In fact, we're just going to do that a couple more times on here and that one will be done. Beautiful. See? That's all it takes. Now it makes me want to do it to this guy too. That's how this takes me forever because I go back and pull and go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Got it. Oh, that's what it is. Very pretty. We're going to take a pull up off of this guy. Needs some more lightness on it. There. That absolutely did help. See if we can get any of these goobers. Sideways goobers are good. We're adding texture. I liked how that worked. That one worked really well. Okay. So, those I got at the dollar store. There's squigglies, here's dots, here's lines. Used the dots before. Okay. What color is next? This is a really bright color. Alright, I'm going to go into my cheap stuff here. Let's see what we got. Here's some silver. That pink is too much. Purple? Purple is really harsh. Color. Okay, this one's dead too. These are not dead. Silver. Silver and blue. Silver and green. Let's go silver and light blue. Artist Loft. So just a quick word on these guys. This bottle is 99 cents to $1.50. This bottle, the larger one, is more expensive, but this size is generally around $4. Yeah, $3.99. You can find them on sale all the time. So I pay that much for this much versus, you know, the size-wise. It's just better to go with a little bit more expensive paint. You don't have to, but you get more paint and it's better stuff. More better. Personally, I find it to be more economical to do it that way. So we're going to grab some of this paint off. We're going to swoop back through here with our silver, and we're going to take our polka dots. What are we going to stamp on? Stamp on. Okay, pull this guy back a little bit. Oh, that was smushed. That's okay though. Alright, what do we got down here? This is one of the browns. It's really a copper color. And we're putting blue and silver over the top of copper. Cool color. I like that. We're going to pick up a little bit more down here so that we're not wasting that beautiful brown. I like it. Got a lot of shimmer to it. All right, let's pull this guy. So that one's even better. Gorgeous. Very cool. All right, I thought this shirt would get warm. It's getting very warm. Okay, so we've got some more of this on our palette here. Actually, let's go ahead and pull in some copper tones with it right off the bat. I think that will be interesting. And to do that, I'm going to take burnt sienna and gold. We're going to go with this green interference. Instead of the gold interference, we'll see what happens. It's sitting here. Oh, too much paint again. God darn it. I'm tired, folks. All right, let's pull off some more. And this will be really beautiful to reuse. Okay. What other things do I have here? I just went around the dollar store the last time I did this and picked up some random things. This one I like. Textures. Okay, well, kind of didn't do anything great there, did it? How about if we just go black? It'll definitely need another layer over the top of that guy. That one is not done. But let's see what we can pull here with this guy. It has 2 layers on it already. And don't put your stuff down in paint. That should be a rule. It's interesting. Needs another layer of paint. Okay. Maybe I should just be doing colors instead of stuff, right? Beginning. After. That's beautiful. Okay, let's get rid of this paint. I just left that whole swath empty. Let's go with this guy. Looks like koi fishes. See the fishies? And of course the fishes are gone. We're gonna do a second layer over the top of that guy once that dries a little bit. Or a third layer, huh? Let's see if we can get a better one for this one now. It's ghost-like. That one's cool. Okay, so we're gonna set some of this stuff to the side so that it doesn't get in my way, and I can just get rid of it, actually. It's going away. There's a ghost print there, isn't there? Yes, there's still another print there. That is one of my favorites right there. There. Ooh, pulled up some of that blue. Perfect. Let's see if we can get more of that. A little bit. Perfect and done. That's cool. Okay. Ooh. A little antique gold and a little yellow ochre. This is the gold that's not open. Regular gold. This is the gold that's almost gone. Going into the stencils. Let's go with something dark. Ah. It's okay. We're just getting little bits and pieces right now of that. That's really wet still. This, though, is what we want under here. Beautiful. Really is beautiful. Okay, let's see what we got here. So we got here. Oh, here first. Let's just set it down on top of there. It's very nice. And even dusting. I love that. This will look so cool on top of text. Really will. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Ooh, going for that purple again. I should not have that color sitting so close to me. Gosh, that blue is so strong. I love it though. I love the color. Okay. That's cool. This is the koi fish one. It's very interesting. I think that's done. Now, again, we're not looking for masterpieces, and that's not what I'm doing here. This has a lot of interest, a lot of variation, but still it's not too obnoxious. I like this. It is now good. Okay. Okay. Okay, we have to remember this is a very strong color, right? Oh, Pepto-Bismol! But wowza! Ooh. That's gonna be high contrast. It's scary. Interesting. Ugly, but interesting. But let's see what happens. Remember this guy? Not quite done yet. This might not be the best choice. but it might be. Who knows? Oh, no, not the best choice. I can edit that one out, right? Let's see what we got here. Let's just pull this up. It actually will still be able to be used. It's just really, I'm going to have to use bits and pieces of it. Because if I cut that up, you'll never know that it's this one big ugly piece of paper. I mean, this right here is stunning. This over here is really pretty. So it's just kind of this middle got a little messed up, but really even that is a very beautiful, subtle background. Little tiny swirls. You can see the swirls. All right, we're not gonna mess with that guy anymore. Different colors, different colors. We need some different colors here. That's a bright red. Greens and blues and purples. Oh my. Reds and browns. And let's go with the red oxide. Okay, so you can see this paint has a little, it's kind of drying up a bit. Let's see, this is the gold. This is the blue interference. I want the gold interference. Might be too much paint. We will see. Looking for copper. Oh, that's gorgeous. What I'm actually going to do is pull off some of that paint here in the middle again. Soften those edges. Trying to get some of that gold over there. Or this guy. Beautiful green. They're really mixing together beautifully. It's hard for you to see, I'm sure. Goobers. I hate goobers. I'm going to put some more of this stuff in here because it's very liquid. Let's find something more. Let's try this purple. Yeah, I know it's scary. It's really beautiful. The variations in here. That's staying. Okay, that one flattened out. That one needs another color over the top of it. Very ghost print here. Needs the contrast still. Okay. Pale blue. Not opened. I always love this turquoise. This turquoise I love. Love, 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 love. Some blue interference. This will pick up some of that red underneath of there too. In fact, I'm thinking just doing a straight pull with that. That's beautiful. That one's done. This guy again. It's better. I mushed it all together, didn't I? Okay. Beautiful. This is beautiful. Too much. I definitely like it with the gold instead. Love that. I don't know if there's any help for this guy. Yes, there was. Like that. Beautiful. That thing's just gross. See if we can fix it. Nope, not yet. Okay. Ugh. It's interesting. It'll work. It's not fantabulous, but it's interesting. This was so fucking ugly. Okay. Okay. Gotta use this paint up. Brilliant blue. Hey everybody, how's it going? Stephanie Ani back here with you tonight. I don't know what time it is, 9:30 in the evening. Been a long day. Yes, it has. But you've been watching me work on the Gelli press this week. I don't know how much was recorded of the actual process, and I apologize for that, but my phone ran out of space and I didn't know it while I was working. Most of these deli sheets, I'm just going to start flipping through them as I'm talking, but this will take forever. Most of these sheets, I've torn some of the edges and I've done some stamping on some. This one is beautiful. Most of these sheets were done with just 2 passes. So you take your base colors, so you put 1 or 2 colors on the Gelli press, and that's your first layer, and then you come back and you put a second layer over the top. This one I came actually back in with some stamps, with some StazOn or some archival ink. Always use something that is waterproof, because as you know, with deli sheets, they are going to be used for me for backgrounds. So I have to have something that is waterproof. That is the key. So that I can put my Mod Podge over the top of it, or whatever you use as your binding agent. I'm still kind of nervous about using Mod Podge, just for the fact that I have a feeling that it is not an archival product. And if that's the case, does anybody know if Mod Podge turns yellow in a few years? And oh my gosh, I still have paint under my fingernails. Aye. So this one was that really bright gold one. I had a stamp of a pansy and some red archival ink. And then my favorite little circle stamp with the purple. This is going to be a beautiful background. This one seems a little bit blurry, but you know, sometimes you need things that are more subtle. And not all of these will be used for the backs of canvases. Some of them I will just use little portions. Right? It actually really reminds me of a underground koi pond thing. This one is really beautiful. It has a lot of transparency to it. I find that the less paint I have on them, the more I like it. This one is also very interesting with pulling. These are pulling up the corners or the edges of the Gelli press, and you get kind of these mix of colors, whatever colors are on the press from the prior things. This has a lot of transparency to it, a lot of different variety, and when I put my book text underneath of the bottom of this, it will really come through, and it should be really beautiful. This is a very pretty blue, but kind of flat, not a whole lot going on. This one has a lot more interest with the iridescence, and with the this was done with cardboard, so you could actually go back through and take your cardboard and just, you know, run your brayer through some paint and run it over the top of that cardboard and just do some stamping with the cardboard. Absolutely, completely kosher. This one is very cool. I like that a lot. This one's even better. Look at that. That's burnt sienna on the bottom. Yeah, and then this is the light blue with silver. Light blue and silver over the top of it. That one is butt ugly. It's ugly. I understand that. But look at this little bit right there is kind of interesting. I could use that for something. You know, and I can tear it up and make squares out of it and do something cool with that. That one's ugly too. This one's kind of cool though. These colors are really beautiful in here. Very rich. This one is actually very transparent. This will be gorgeous on a canvas, I guarantee you. Guarantee it. As will this one. Wow. You can see the transparency. You will see the text or whatever you put underneath of it. So what if you put Oh, what if you put some of like the Tim Holtz melange underneath there, or a piece of music paper, or something like that, and then you put this over the top. You're creating, you know, transparent layers with color. Very cool. This one is fabulous. This is the copper that I made either out of the red and gold or something like that. This one is also beautiful. You can see this one picked up the edges again. And I find I really like that. I like less paint, and I like, you know, interesting variety. This one's beautiful. Very Caribbean. This one's bright, but it is very pretty. This one reminds me of deep sea. How beautiful that is. I could almost see kind of rocks down here and the sunlight up here coming through the water, shining down, and some reeds. Ooh. This one I love. That one's beautiful. This one is stunning. I really love this diamond shaped stencil that I used here. And actually, it'd be kind of cool to take some stencils over the top of some of these while I'm working, just to give them a little more variety. This is beautiful. But there's no need to have to really go through and do it now. I can wait until I put it on the canvas to make the patterns. That one's really pretty. That one's better as a landscape shape. Love the Harlequin Diamond. This is very transparent. It'll be beautiful. This one is also very transparent, and it will be really pretty when it's on the canvas. Same with this guy. So I actually like the less is more mentality on the Gelli sheets. It all completely depends on what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish, and what size your Gelli press is. I have the 12 by 12. I paid the extra money to get the larger one because I knew I wanted to work on larger canvases. And I'm kind of the type of person that I'm going to spend the extra $10 to get the biggest one. I kind of want a smaller one now. Love that. And the reason for the smaller one is I want one that I can just have on my desk, where I can just, you know, do a quick workout. And that one's beautiful. This one's gorgeous. This one's really pretty. Yeah, just quickly work through it and have it there on the side. Just to add little colors here and there. This is beautiful. This one's very bright. The green is kind of obnoxious. But it also has kind of an interesting circular image. With that, I could see, well, I don't know. It could be anything, right? That is lovely. That is fugly. Actually, that one's kind of cool. I actually like what's going on in here. There's a very strong strip through there, but it's pretty. This is stunning. This is just stunning. Again, this is 2 ghost prints. That's intense. Oh, look at that little spot right there. Okay. Don't always have to use the full thing. This is actually quite cool. I like how the red sits on top of the blue. I think it's beautiful. That's very pretty. I love this. This will make an excellent vintage piece. It's not bad. That's gonna take some toning down. Pretty though. That's but ugly. Yep, hate that. That one's cool. This has so many different colors through here. Love that. It's very blue, but very organic. And I think that's one of the things that I love about the Gelli press, is you do get very organic shapes. This got a little muddy through here, but it still is very beautiful and usable. This got, again, a little bit muddy. I think I took my brayer and went over the top of some of these, which makes for a very subtle piece, but sometimes you need a subtle piece of paper. This is really cool through here. It's interesting. It'll work. That one will definitely work. This I love. It is very transparent. This one, the paint got very thick on here, so you can see. Still has nice spots though. This one's pretty ugly. But actually, if you look right through here, that's quite pretty. It has spots that are great. Not everything is going to be a huge success every single time. Here's the Harlequin Diamond again. I love that, and I will be doing more of that. It's a new stencil of mine. This, I just needed a dark green piece, and I accomplished that. That has potential. That's quite bright. It has potential though. So that's yeah. Okay. However, look at this. So all of a sudden here I see a tree, and then I'm seeing other trees mimicked back here, and I see an automatic landscape in this. Very organic. Very under the sea. Under the sea. This is beautiful. Wow. I love that. Again, that has that very Asian feel to me. That's pretty damn bright. Yes. It does have some transparency to it. And it does have some areas that are really kind of cool. It's not a total loss by any means. That's beautiful. That's just beautiful. And you've got to realize too, as I'm seeing these as pieces of art worked into a canvas. That has some really cool, some cool energy. That I love. That again is just getting those brown tones. Sometimes you just need brown, and sometimes you just need blue. However, this guy is really cool. I don't know if you can see that. But if you look right here, it got a little wrinkly when I put it down. The wrinkles gave it some great texture through here. It just looks like a cool book cover to me. I love that piece. That's a great piece. This seems like it's flat, but it really is not flat whatsoever. There's a ton of color in there. So even though it's dark, it still has a ton of variety. Beautiful. At first glance, you're like, oh my gosh, but look at how cool this is. You see the person? There's a lot of potential there. Oh, wow. That one's a piece of art on its own, isn't it? I will be putting some of these just on canvases, I think. That's really interesting. Yeah, at first glance it's like, ooh, and then you look at it a little bit more and you see the variations of color in there. And it's really beautiful. Truly it is. Trust me, it'll be pretty when it's made up. You might think, oh gosh, that's just some dang ugly paper. But for me, I'm like, oh wow. Wow, that's so cool. Love that. Because I do. I love doing it. I know what it's going to look like in the end, and this is so vintage. Look at that. Can you imagine taking Seth Apter's embossing powders over the top of this? Ooh. I see a whole new line of artwork coming up. Oh, maybe. Let's see what happens. That's very flat and very blah. Oh, that's pretty right there. But sometimes you need flat and blah. Remember that. Can't all be wow and amazing, can it? Can it? That's cool. That one actually turned out. Very pretty. Wowza. There, that way. Look at the richness of those colors in there. I hope you can see these. I hope they're not all just glaring at you. Perfect autumn colors. This thing is awesome. Look at right here. Look at all those different varieties of color. And this is, again, where I've pulled up on all the corner edges. This was just the ghost page, the final ghost page, a couple different times. Look at all those colors in there. It's stunning. This is actually very pretty. The purples are very rich. This copper color was created with burnt sienna and gold through here. Again, I think the key is to not fill up your whole jelly sheet with a flat color. However, this one's beautiful. I know it looks a little flat to you, but if you can see what I see, there's a lot of different colors in there. Oh, Whew. That's ugly. Oh, it's an ugly one to finish on. Thankfully, oh, Pepto-Bismol. There's always a need, though, for sometimes a bright piece of paper. That one I don't love as much. This one is very transparent. The ghost prints again, pulling up whatever little pieces. This can be really beautiful on a canvas. This one has a little bit of a watercolor feel to it. Not the greatest, but like I said, they all can't be, you know, amazing. So I'm really loving these lines from the wrinkles. I'm thinking maybe I should try some with some wrinkled paper. And that's just as boring as it gets right there. So what if we were to take wrinkled paper and use very little paint, you know? The main ingredient to the Gelli press is just to enjoy and to experiment and to play. These deli sheets are inexpensive. You can use whatever paper you want to, you know? Oh, sorry. Go buy a ream of, 500 sheets of copy paper and try that. Buy some cheap tissue paper. Buy some parchment paper. Whatever you have. And just play. You know? Who knows what you'll come up with. Some will be less successful. Some will be more successful. I guarantee it. That's very cool. Alright, so there is my Gelli press adventure. I'm sorry you didn't get to see me make more of them, but in truth, it's just layering of color. Color and more color. Figuring out what colors work well together. This one's amazing. This one's amazing. Okay, everybody. I hope you have a great evening. I hope that this was at least minimally informative for you. And now when you say, where'd you get your background? I can tell you, come back to this video, and then you can see where I get all my Gelli press deli sheet backgrounds from. And I think I'll make some more. I know I've got a lot here, but, I'll use them. I will use every single scrap, as we just saw. All right, take her easy, y'all. Stay safe. Like the video, please. Subscribe to the video if you haven't already. I know you get tired of hearing it. It helps me out immensely. And hey, I really do love to hear your comments. I love to hear what you think about these. I would love to see what you're doing and what you're making. So I do have a Facebook page. I'm starting a page and then a closed group. The closed group is going to be for artists to share and to have a safe space. It is called the Messy Hand Band of Artists. Messy hands, because I always have messy hands. Band of Artists. So, jump over to Facebook and check things out over there and ask to join the group. All right. You can always reach me at StephanieAuneDesigns.com or StephanieAuneDesigns at gmail.com for my email address. And hey, I hope to hear from you soon. Good night, everybody. Good night. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. All right. Love ya. Bye. Bye. Bye.